Sometimes you see a video that just makes your day. If you're having a bad day, and I wasn't having a bad day yesterday, by the way, I was having an okay day, a mediocre, uneventful day. But you will see a video that if you're in a crappy mood or you're in a, neutral, neither happy nor sad mood, and you see this video, it'll just warm your heart. It will just make you smile, and it will just make you restore your faith in humanity. I saw such a video yesterday. In fact, I saw this video many a times because I get a little annoyed in the last 4 years with this rehabilitation of George W. Bush, our former president. And in a way, a lot of the liberals who suffer from Trump derangement syndrome, I guess I'm guilty of suffering from George W. Bush derangement syndrome because I despise George W. Bush and think he was the worst president. I even think he was worse than Donald Trump. And doesn't mean that I like Donald Trump. I'm just objectively, when you come right down to what damage George W. Bush has done over the years. I mean, it even made the January 6th insurrection of these silly rednecks look like nothing, okay? I'm talking about two wars in two major countries, Iraq and Afghanistan, where trillions of dollars that we just flushed down the toilet based on the incompetence and the lies of this man, George W. Bush. And think about it is that a lot of the liberal elites are with this kumbaya sort of, George W. Bush, he's okay. He paints now. And Keith Olbermann, bend the knee and apologize to George W. Bush for all the mean things he said on MSNBC during the Bush-Cheney years. And, I mean, it's just nuts how crazy this is, we're talking about a mass murderer that needs to be put in Nuremberg on trial for crimes against humanity. And I'm not being partisan. It sounds like, oh, you're just beating up on him because he's a Republican president. No. I say that Bill Clinton, containing the no-fly zone from the time George Herbert Walker Bush left the presidency, and you look at Secretary of State Madeleine Albright, and she said that it was worth it. The millions, the hundreds of thousands of people that died, all the way to the count of a million. She said it was worth it. And so Madeleine Albright is also a war criminal. Anna Kasparian spends her time, just exchanging pleasantries with her. But, Bill Clinton is a war criminal. His wife, Senator Hillary Clinton of New York, is a war criminal for voting for the Iraq invasion. Joe Biden is a war criminal for voting for the Iraq invasion, although he did pull the troops out of Afghanistan, and I can go and forgive him for that. That's certainly a wonderful development, pulling the troops out of Afghanistan, and there's still a lot of neocons crying tears over this shit. I mean, Barack Obama continued the policies of George W. Bush, another war criminal, so we're not in short supply of war criminals, and they come across from both parties, and anybody who voted for the Iraq invasion is a war criminal, as far as I'm concerned. And not only did it do damage to the people, innocents in Iraq, it made the Middle East more unstable, and it actually harmed the U.S. economy with the trillions that we shoved down the toilet that we're probably never ever going to pay. But I'm getting all long winded. On Sunday, September 19th, George W. Bush was at a speaking event in Beverly Hills, California. And he was there, and what would appear to be basically an uneventful, low key visit. Well, Mark Prysner, who's the husband of Abby Martin, in their program, they worked together on a program called the Empire Files. I highly recommend it. And I'll put in a YouTube link for it. This video shows, and I want to thank Radical Leftist Agenda for sending this video on Twitter yesterday. As I said, this video made me very happy. It put me in the best of moods, and so I want to thank Radical Leftist Agenda for bringing my attention to this video on Twitter yesterday. Well, I'm going to play you this video, and I am going to go and share some more words. Hold tight and enjoy. We need more of this. We certainly do. We need more of this.
Mr. Bush, when are you going to apologize for the million Iraqis that are dead because you lied? You lied about weapons of mass destruction. You lied about connections to 9/11. You lied about Iraq being a threat. You sent me to Iraq. You sent me to Iraq in 2003. My friends are dead. Joshua Castile. You killed people. You lied. You lied about WMDs. A million Iraqis are dead because you lied. My friends are dead because you lied. You need to apologize. Apologize. You need to apologize. Apologize. Apologize.
Are you with this gentleman? No.
What just happened?
I'm wondering if they're going to arrest me, but
What just happened?
I just disrupted George Bush speaking. They dragged me out. I guess the cops are not after me, so I
I
guess
just saw
they're
them
not arresting
running,
me.
but
Yeah. Well, what I did was I tried to read the names of friends of mine who died after going to Iraq and then died of injuries they came home with. The names of Iraqis who were killed by the U.S. occupation in the Nice Square massacre, Editha, those you saw in the collateral murder video. I tried to read the names, but the event runners immediately grabbed the list and tore it up. But I was able to shut it down for a little while, right when Bush was getting into his first little cheesy story about his life and all that, trying to be funny. But so hopefully I shook him and set a tone for the event. The crowd was very mad. Typical crowd you would expect for George W. Bush, but they seem to not be expecting it at all. And here we are. So tried not to give them a little moment of peace, because no one else gets it who's touched by the war.
Uh-huh. I love that video. I just want to say I love that video. And this is to Mark Prysner and Abby Martin. If you stumble across my video here, American Social Democracy, I love you guys for what you just did, for what you for this event. In fact, if I ever see y'all, I would love to buy y'all a dinner on me. Just because we need more of this. When Congresswoman Maxine Waters during the Trump years was talking about getting in people's faces from the administration or what have you, that sort of thing. I thought that was like a counterproductive measure. But someone like George W. Bush, who murdered over 1 million people. I mean, this is like the nicest thing you could do against George W. Bush. I mean, really, he needs to be rotting behind bars. So, and same thing with Dick Cheney, same thing with John Bolton. It's too late for Donald Rumsfeld and all these other ghouls that were responsible not only for creating instability and handling 9/11, the response the wrong way by attacking a country that did nothing against the United States, linking a country to 9/11 that had no links whatsoever. And anybody with basic knowledge in Middle Eastern politics should know these things. Not only on a foreign policy level, but also the destruction of our domestic civil liberties. And people are talking about what big tech is doing, and everybody trying to watch what they say, and the even down to the council culture, whatever. This stuff is kind of linked to how Bush and Cheney responded to 9/11. This is why we have creeping totalitarianism today in the year 2021. It goes back to Bush and Cheney, and that's where it goes back to. So our domestic civil liberties down the toilet, constitutional rights gone, and you got to fight like hell to restore your constitutional rights. Abby Martin earlier this year was able to go and win a case against the University of Georgia system because they demanded that she sign a pro-Israel loyalty oath for her to speak on campus. And this is a lot of people are asked of these things, and various state governments are asked these things, and a university state system or state government, what does the fuck does that have to do with what goes on over there between the Israelis and Palestinians? What the fuck does that have to do? It's to and it's not because people love Jewish people. It's because they want to appease the religious right, the evangelical Christians who are kind of anti-Semitic themselves, and so they want to go and appease that base. So that's why they have these really stupid laws that you're not to engage in boycott or anything like that. So that's part of that. But there's also our American soldiers dying needlessly over a lie. Because where are the weapons of mass destruction? They're nowhere to be seen. Saddam Hussein, who was not a nice man, was complying with the international community. George W. Bush was trying to go and find a way to go and invade Iraq. I mean, in fact, I really do believe that he decided to run for president because he had a score to settle with the Saddam Hussein, who made life tough on my daddy. My daddy, former Vice President George Herbert Walker Bush, my one-term daddy. That guy. And the wasteful spending. Trillions. Tens of trillions of dollars in the last 20 years. We could have used that money to give medical care to our American people. We could have used that money to restore our crumbling infrastructure. We could have used this money to make sure there's no such a thing as homelessness in this country, and to have free college and the federal jobs guarantee. And I'm sounding like a broken record, but these things needs to be emphasized so the American people will get it, that what other societies do for their people ain't exactly a bad thing if we can do that here. So that's what it comes right down to. And this rehabilitation of George W. Bush, it is also done cynically it's kind of a jab at Donald Trump. And as I said, I don't want anybody to think that I'm soft on Trump, because I'm not. I got a lot of problems with Donald Trump. I mean, the man tried to do the Insurrection Act last year to go after protesters in this country, peaceful protesters. So, and tearing up getting the United States to lead the Iranian deal. One of the best things Obama did was the peace treaty that the United States had with Iran. And again, I know why he did it. He did it to appease the evangelical Christian, the Christian right, who love neocon wars. And that's what it comes right down to. So, I mean, and so we got somebody, basically, a war criminal who killed over 1 million people, George W. Bush, versus somebody who spray paints his body orange with paint, tan, and has a bad comb over, who likes to go and do little mean tweets when he had a Twitter account. That's what comes right down to it. So heroes are made of people like Mark Prysner for what he did. And as I said, if I ever meet him and Abby Martin in person, I would like to buy them dinner and drinks on me, because what they have done in alerting our country of the problems with the military-industrial complex and our national security state that clamps down on our domestic civil liberties and eroding our constitutional rights and our free speech rights and everything, and things like torture that's been practiced, not just on people from the Middle East. We have tortured, Chelsea Manning's been tortured by our U.S. government, and Julian Assange is presently being tortured by our government too. So there you have it. And the thing about it is, I am not going to lift one finger to contribute to the rehabilitation of George W. Bush. And mark my words, you're going to hear this. You're going to find out in about 5 or 10, maybe 15 years down the road, if Donald Trump is still living. Expect to see him and Barack and Michelle Obama exchanging pleasantries over martinis and these events, because a Republican president more fucked up than Donald Trump, like a Tom Cotton, or what's the name of that loser from Florida, Ron DeSantis, or someone like that getting into the White House, and it's going to make Donald Trump look relatively liberal by comparison, because the Republican Party gets further and further and further and further and further and further to the right, and guess what? The Democrats kind of go along with them, and because the Republican Party are a far right quasi-fascist party today, and the Democratic Party is pretty much the Republican Party from 30 years ago. So that's where we're at right now. So I'm going to leave a link, as I said, for the Empire Files. Look up the Empire Files, subscribe to their channel, and look up. I'm going to put up the link for Radical Leftist Agenda. Look her up, subscribe to her channel on YouTube and on Twitch. So anyway, if you like what you heard, press like and comment. If you disagree, well, comment anyway. We'll have a conversation. Feel free to share the content on this channel. As a First Amendment absolutist, it's my duty to inform you to create your own platform and utilize it, because we're the muckrakers of our time. And also hit that subscribe button, that notification bell, so you're kept up to date with hard-hitting commentary by yours truly. I am American Social Democracy. Peace, class struggle, and arrest those damn war criminals and end these damn neocon wars once and for all. Take care.